Hey guys, welcome to the last day of the competition. Well, not really because we're going to have the NAEU final at a later date, but more or less wrapping up everything else. We're really sorry about starting everything a little bit late, and so we're going to jump straight into the EU final, which happened a couple hours ago.
Straight into the action.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
GG. GG. Voilà. C'est pas passé loin, hein.
I don't know what server error is like. I don't know how much you slayed. But I don't think I've seen it on the leaderboards at all. So I kind of expect you guys to win that one. But for the finals, I'm expecting that to be a really, really close match. And probably both people take it. I'm fully expecting to get to the finals. So right now, all focused on that right side. There should at least be one unit on that left side when the platform. That platform will put passive damage on the opposing team's tower. So this little platform right here will be right over here. You guys can see my
Allez les garçons, les garçons. Allez les garçons.
Désolé. GG.
Chippy Floss Icon said, "Look."
nice sniper bait right there? That was really nice sniper bait, if I do say so myself.
And we are unmuted, and welcome back to the match. So for those who didn't hear, which I guess is everybody, on the left side we have Master Shadow on the blue side, and on the red side we have Serve Error facing off. Both of them are from North America. Pretty sure both of them are from the US. I don't think we have any Canadian players in the at-home.
Yeah, when we weren't muted, you guys missed our chat about Finnish reindeer. So maybe we'll repeat that in just a second.
Yes. Okay, looks like he's thrown down the thunder cloud block, obscuring the vision on the left side over there, or right side, depending on whose perspective you're looking
Yeah,
at.
so we got Master Shadow right on the left.
Yes.
So Master Shadow is actually doing something really cool, which a lot of people are using for VR casting. You can actually see like his whole body in the game, right? So for everyone at home, like there's basically two different ways you can do mixed reality for casting. What he's doing, and for his YouTube channel, is he is.
Oh, I think that's the end of the first game. Oh, and the dab. You love to see it.
So
oh,
anyway,
the first one. That is 1-0
that
to
was
Master
fast.
Shadow.
So Master Shadow, he found some extra super secret sauce in his dab and his bow, right?
Oh yeah, love
Yeah,
the sportsmanship.
So anyway, I mean, that's one of the benefits of streaming in mixed reality with a green screen. You know, that's something a lot of, you can do on Twitch that's pretty simple. A lot of services like Live and Mixcast are pulling up, where you can actually like physically place yourself in the game, and you can do like one-to-one controllers. So, for example, on Beat Saber, we had, what's her name? Brie Larson, right?
Possible. I can't remember anymore.
Did you see that with Brie Larson?
No, I didn't.
So she was on the Tonight Show just like a few days before Avengers was released.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, they had Beat Saber on the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I might have to go look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty awesome. So
Yeah, that's super
Jimmy
neat.
Fallon was dancing in front of Brie Larson, so it was pretty funny.
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Always cool to see VR entering the mainstream.
I know. That's actually not the first time Jimmy Fallon's done VR. He actually did
Really?
VR Pictionary with Scarlett Johansson.
That sounds great.
So I think his strategy is to have the Avengers on there one by one until they all do
Yeah.
something in VR. It's a master strategy that VR marketers have rolled out.
That's great. Hey, well, it looks like the second round has just started again, and they appear to be on the exact same sides. Though, was this a different map? It looks like a different map to me.
Yeah, so we have Master Shadow and Server. Master Shadow laid down the super quick win, right? I think that's one of the quickest wins I've seen
Oh,
here in the
yeah, that
semifinals.
was like 5 seconds.
So, actually, yeah, in Outer Limits VR saying Serve Error is in the finals, that's crazy. So we don't know if Serve Error is like going to pull off some crazy tricks.
Yeah. Oh, this is
to win.
technically, speaking to Outer Limits VR over there, Cervera is technically in the semifinals because we only had 4 people for the at-home tournament, so just by default, he's in the semifinals.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk a little bit about why we ran the at-home tournament that way. Anyway, but we can see the action currently, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone else is seeing this, but for some reason, Cervera's stream seems to be cutting and going to black a little bit. I don't know if everyone else can see that, but that's how we're seeing it on our end. Hopefully
Yeah.
everyone else is pretty clean.
So Brandon's our excellent producer here. Brandon, we just need to check on that everyone can see Master Shadow
Yeah.
versus Serve Error over here.
Oh boy.
So we're not on the casting deck currently right now, are we?
No, we're not. We're viewing the game right now.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, really? That's super cool. Yeah. What I really enjoy about like the VR esports scene right now is that a lot of the athletes cross over games a lot, and they're also like just very good at all the games pretty much. It's not like other traditional esports where like they're just dedicated to that same game like all year round playing it. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Oh, boy.
for not everybody knows what we're talking about, with Serve Error. So Archangel was one of the standout VR esports games from 2018. So that one was actually the very first PvP VR arcade tournament we had ran. We ran a few small trials, but that was actually the first one with 16 arcades, and we ran that across North America. The winners actually made it to TwitchCon in San Jose to battle against Pesky Cashew. And Pesky Cashew ought to be a familiar name. Anytime if you played Audica, you're going to see Pesky Cashew's name at the top of the board. And anyway, so super cool. I mean, and that's the way VR esports is right now. It's a super small, super passionate community that jumps into it and is really a generalist at VR esports right now.
Yeah, and it looks like for everyone who might be seeing it, but it looks like unfortunately Serve Error's stream has just died. Oh, but hey, Brandon, would we be able to just have Master Shadow just solo the his stream? Oh, okay, never mind. Looks like we're having a little bit of trouble on our server side trying to dual stream this, but on the other hand, it's still watchable, and it looks like Master Shadow is really closing in on Serve Error at the moment.
Yeah, so let's switch back to the action just so we don't miss anything on Master Shadow side. So anyway, this is really cool. What we've been able to do is there's actually this cool little startup called Lightstream. They got funding actually out of Techstars, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And you know, a lot of services are recognizing that streamers want to stream together. And so traditionally when you watch something on Twitch, you can only see like one streamer. But Twitch and a few others have actually, this most recent TwitchCon, they rolled out some features where you can do up to 4 people at once.
Hey, we got the solo. Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. So anyway, it's really cool that some of these tools are reaching the mainstream and making Twitch enjoyment or Twitch stream a little more possible, right? So you've always had the NFL, which can instantly switch between that, but they're actually on the NFL side, they're running on like $100,000 cameras and crazy broadcast studios with like 3 or 4 people. A lot of these new technologies like Lightstream are you know, enabling people to check out streams where you can dual stream and Twitch, which is coming up for streams. Actually, and I promise that's not a commercial for Lightstream.
No, not at all. They're just a good service.
They're a good service. And I actually met one person in per.
Oh, but hey, it looks like Master Shadow has completely sweep Serve Error 2-0. Exciting, exciting. Actually,
Yeah.
you know, I was looking at the EU bracket, and for every match that was won, it was a 2-0. Like, there was never a 2-1 match, which I find really interesting. I'm really hoping, even for the EU finals, so I'm really hoping for like a much more exciting matchup for the NA-EU match.
Right, and so like traditionally what we see as we get a little bit closer into the finals here is that you know, traditionally matches go best of 2, best of 3. That's what we get to.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, welcome back to the casting desk. In a couple minutes, we're going to have Alex versus Bartobi in a couple minutes. But until then, yeah, what do you think of the match? It was a pretty quick sweep.
That was pretty quick. I think we saw some strategies that have been pretty common. You know, Master Shadow, he definitely picked up on some of the Cloud Lightning, right?
Oh yeah,
With the
yeah,
vision,
blocking the vision.
blocking the vision. That was super fast. From what I saw, he also was like pretty good at managing the mana, right? So it's just his casting or selecting his cards. That made a quick difference. Serve Error, you know, maybe we, you know, it'd be a different story for Archangel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
challenge me in a mech suit, like.
right? So you can't play Kingdom Brawl in a mech suit yet, but
One day,
you know,
one
maybe
day.
next
Developers,
year.
come on.
So Vertigo, mech suit plus card battling. That's the next expansion I hear, right? So,
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah. Anyway, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna show Alex versus Bartubi first, or what we can do is we can actually show one of our supercuts from previous. So Brandon, Alex and Bartubi
Okay. Oh, yeah,
are
we
next
have
on
time for
deck.
it.
So let's actually show that supercut. So we're actually gonna rewind time here a little bit.
Yeah, going back through the several tournaments
time.
that we've had so far, and yeah, let's go.
much anywhere you can
all
get
of
VR.
those, yeah. And then I know for like consumers, those of you at home, you're able to access it through Steam as well as the Oculus Store for free, which is really impressive. And then there's the paid version, which includes the single player game.
So you saw right there on the left, he came out, regenerated, respawned, came back and he knocked out one of the pillars on that bridge.
Yeah, so you're literally, think like Spider-Man with guns, right? Where you got really cool structures floating, and there is no ground for you to really run on. You're slingshotting yourself around space. It's more just falling with style. There we go. I know that.
20 minutes, whichever one's first.
This is going pretty quick. Those things are playing really aggressive.
Adverb.
Very aggressive. You're just either chasing each other in the combat. Trying to see better, more like professional everybody. It really is like head-to-head dude, get out and see who's gonna last.
Good, man. How you doing? Congrats on your victory.
Hey guys, and that was the supercut for the past season. We've had Space Junkies by Ubisoft, and then what was it?
Yeah, we had Archangel, and then we had Blasters. Basically, what we're doing is we have run enough tournaments to this point that we're throwing a lot of together a lot of the action. And VR esports is so new that a lot of people are still learning about it for the very first time. So, like when Onward was on the front page of Twitch last year, that was crazy. Cool. So they had something like 1 million viewers on that, but people were freaking out. They had never seen anything like that before. And you saw the Twitch comments. They're like, "Welcome to the future, boys." So that was pretty cool because like during Onward, people actually like get on the ground and they duck, and it's pretty unique for like first-person shooter. So yeah. But a lot of the events that we've done, Space Junkies was across like 15 countries. That Archangel one was the largest North American tournament to date for PvP arcade versus arcade. So for a long time, arcades have basically existed on island. They don't really interact with other arcades. Like you have an arcade in California, they might like be on a Facebook group with an arcade in New York, right? But the way the VAL tournaments work is somebody will participate, like tonight, where we have the North American team against somebody from New York, right? And so that's what's really unique about the Arcade League, is it really is a network of arcades all linking together around the world.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Now, I think we were talking something about Finland before we started.
Oh yeah, so that was while we were on mute. So maybe we'll tell our Finnish stories again.
Yeah, and I think we are looking. The contestants are still loading in right now, so we may have like a minute or two. Actually, it looks like they are pretty much ready. How are we looking right now, Brendan? Okay, so we still have like a minute or two if you have time.
Yeah, so with these live productions, this is pretty interesting. I think what we do is we actually run these matches live, and that means that we have to coordinate with like 8 people simultaneously.
Yeah.
And so using the Lightstream tool, which again we're not doing a commercial for it.
No.
But essentially everyone has to copy a Steam code right into Lightstream at the exact same time. Not a stream.
Key.
Yeah. And then they essentially launch that live and go right into the matches. And so it's a quick way to enable us to show global crossplay of different tournaments that are happening around the world simultaneously.
Yeah, but sometimes they're going to be a little bit finicky. Like sometimes the stream is just choppy, like it just goes like cuts to black to the live stream, like very flickery. And sometimes we stream the light stream, which is the dual split screen, into our own OBS stream where we do this from. and then sometimes that connection can kind of screw up a little bit. And so we're really relying on like the player's connection to Lightstream to work and the connection from Lightstream to us to work, and then from us to actual Twitch, which is like a lot of overlapping networks. And if anyone's ever played an online game before, you know how like finicky that can be pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, the world of observation for esports is really evolving. I think, some people who are pushing the limits of that are Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
So Overwatch is sweet, right? So like you go in
So
there,
sweet.
they have like instant replays that they have now in their different spectator tools. I don't want to know how much that cost.
Oh
in
yeah.
terms
Oh my
of-
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go into Overwatch, they are basically reaching levels of broadcasting that you've traditionally only seen in like the NBA, the NFL, FIFA. So, but with that, like that's actually some serious money starting to pour into esports. Each franchise fee for Overwatch has now crossed $30 million.
Oh wow, that's incredible. But anyway, it looks like the game has finally started on this end. Let's go. So just a reminder, we have Alex versus Bartobi over here, also the at-home players in North America over here. And it looks like we have Alex on the left side with the blues, and then we have Bartobi on the red side over here. Looks like they've already laid down the thunderclouds in spite of destroying air support, which is probably another vision tactic. Again, I feel like, even after he just slung that fireball, I feel like you don't see that super often, just because, like, if you're not targeting multiple clusters, it's a little bit of a waste of mana, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean, some of these are really just lane control tactics. So usually what we've seen is the top players, they'll do the lightning cloud, but they'll do it in the center of the map. When you do it off the side of the map, I think that's a lane control tact that we don't usually see.
Yeah, but it looks like that red side is already quite pinched in over there, like getting really flooded
And
by
these turrets are
troops.
going down already.
Yeah, it looks like the bridge was the most straightforward way into the base, and the turret on the right side's already gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and now both turrets are gone.
this is going to be another super quick match.
Oh yeah, it's looking like Alex still has both his turrets up. There's absolutely no soldiers on his sides.
Yeah, all out of cards. He's just running out of.
Oh yeah, he's just tossing them out.
He's
It's just a
tossing them out
desperate
at this
play
point.
At this point, yeah. Absolutely none of his soldiers are reaching him. This looks like a pretty clean sweep.
Yeah, so it looks like Blue. He's got like this nice little like fairyland. It's like got all this green grass everywhere, and you got like total desolation on the other side.
This is tough to watch. And it looks very similar to the last game we'll see. And so I don't want to speculate too far into the future, but it looks like we might have like a pretty similar match for the finals. Two people who are able to sweep so decisively.
Master Shadow though, that was a pretty good sweep. So whoever wins, Alex or Batubi versus this one, is going to be pretty good though. So
Definitely.
not that these matches are evidence that they're quick. Is evidence of I think the player's skill, because these are actually some of the very top players from the top of the leaderboard. So what's happening is they're just able to gain a quick advantage here super early on and just really press that advantage. Because the at-home tournaments are actually, we've got some of the most dedicated worldwide players into these right here.
Yeah, and for those who are paying attention, if you see on Alex's side, he, like, when the arrow for the spawning things where, like, his lane minions will sort of go down, he's actually turning his wrist to switch between, and that's more of the more high-level tactics where you can have your troops go down alternate paths and actually try and surprise the enemy by having them attacked at multiple angles and have to take care of all of those.
So this has actually gone on a little bit longer than I would have thought.
Yeah, it looks like the game is actually... Oh, no. Oh, just when we thought it was good.
Okay.
I like how the table is actually arms width apart. I've played this game several times. I actually have never tried reaching over like that to my
And
opponent.
doing like an awesome fist bump like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm just like, next.
Yeah.
But hey, it looks like that was actually a bit of a turnaround. Yeah, it looks like Bartobi actually got that one. Well, anyways, they possibly will be shuffling around their cars as something that we have allowed them to do. Yeah, it looks like they're just going to be doing that for a couple minutes. And so what are your thoughts on that match?
It was gone on pretty fast, right? I think these matches for the home tournaments are going a little bit quickly, right?
Oh, yeah.
So since we were on mute previously, we can tell our rainbow, not rainbow, reindeer There's a rainbow right on screen. That's actually what I'm probably seeing right now.
Oh,
So we're going to talk really quick about why we've introduced some of the home tournaments.
Yes.
So, for example, during our Beat Saber tournament, the person who won drove in his car in Canada 5 or 6 hours, slept in his car, and then went to the arcade and won the worldwide Beat Saber tournament. So that was true dedication right there. What we found is that not everyone in the world is within 5 or 6 hours, or 5 or 6 hours is too much gas money to drive to your arcade plus sleep in your car.
Who would have guessed?
So if you're going to win the Beat Saber tournament, definitely do it. But like for example, we've had players from Finland, and you can get an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive delivered to your address in Finland, but you're maybe not riding a reindeer across the entire plains to go. And actually, all the Finnish people are probably like, "Hey, we drive our Teslas."
Yeah.
So
Hey, I mean, according to some internet sleuths, Finland just does not exist. But that is a theory that I am not going to get into tonight. And it looks like we have the start of the next round. Looks like even so early on, Bartubi already has his right turret under attack, which is the exact same tactic that happened last time. He chose to focus the mid and the right lanes, at least from Bartubi's perspective.
yeah, so I mean, what we're seeing here is a little bit unique. We haven't seen this in some of the previous matches. Is that we're seeing a lot of the action happen in just one lane right here. So like as you can see, like down the center lane, there's actually nothing happening like right at this moment. So both players are concentrating all of their efforts on either the right or left lane. Although they do have those are the knight units that are coming down the center.
Yeah, it looks that way, and there looks like a siege on the far left who's just sneaking around completely unopposed. Oh no, it just blew up, never mind. But yeah, because even if you do want to focus a lane, you still want to keep the other ones occupied, because either way you're going to force them to respond in some way, which will take away focus from that lane you are pressuring the most.
Yep, and then we got blue here. I just put a dragon, which is one of the most powerful units in the game.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like Bartobi is actually closing in on the castle over
But
there.
the dragon hardly lasted, so that was one of the quickest.
Yeah, that was actually quite
the
quick.
dragon didn't even make it like to the center of the board.
Yeah,
right there.
Bartobi still has both his towers. He's pushed up. There's no blue troops on his side of the map. Oh, except for that one knight who's coming in, but it looks like he's going to be intercepted by an airship and a couple soldiers over there. Oh, and actually it looks like tide is turning. Yeah, just as I say that, a bunch of blue soldiers just come flooding in from multiple angles. And now Bartobi is forced on the defensive. But if you notice, Bartobi actually has like 2 smaller sniper balloons who are just like taking their pot shots at the castle right now because there's no other protection. And so as long as Bartobi is able to hold out and Alex is not able to respond to those airships, like he will just win this siege because Alex has both towers up. I mean, because Bartobi has both of his towers up. And yeah, it looks like he just won the stakeout. Yeah, and that's 2-0 to Bartobi.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here next is we're going to move to Master Shadow versus Bartubi. So
Congratulations to both of you guys.
Yep, so that was awesome. And that should move into some of our at-home tournaments right here. So
Yeah. And just to remind our audience out there that the prize pool for the at-home tournament is different from the regional tournament that we have.
Right, so the at-home tournament is the prize pool is just $150 for that one. We're just trying to see what we can do to accommodate some of the home players who live a little bit further from arcades, and just try to loop them into that. It's kind of funny, the at-home prize pool, that actually reminds me of The Biggest Loser a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've never watched that
You've
show,
never
to be
watched The
honest.
Biggest Loser? It's
No.
okay. It'll probably rot your brain out.
Okay, fair enough.
So
I hear that a lot about American TV, to be honest.
So that's actually something that The Biggest Loser did too, right? So The Biggest Loser is like an American reality TV show.
Wait, did they go on TV for just to win $150?
No. So I think the prize pool for Biggest Loser was like $50K.
Oh,
I think,
damn,
for that
okay.
home, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't. Wait. This TV show is played at home?
Yeah. So.
Oh, I didn't know
But it's
that.
played with live, so maybe they decided, that someday somebody was going to have a heart attack on that show, and it's too much of a liability to continue on. So Biggest Loser,
Oh my gosh.
they discontinued that show like 3 or 4 years ago, but it used to be a show where people would like exercise like mad amounts as they were getting on there, and they go from like 300 pounds to like 150 pounds in the course of like one season. So, but if you got eliminated, you could participate at home. So
okay, that
So
makes
essentially,
sense.
this is the same idea, right? Except instead of losing weight, you're actually trying to win VR esports championships. You know, actually, some people have lost weight, Beat Saber. So
Yeah.
maybe like here in a little bit, we'll run a Biggest Loser challenge. Like weight loss in VR esports.
Hey, I mean, like VR is like pretty much built for fitness. I mean, like Nintendo had the right idea with the Wii Fit, but I mean, I think this is the next evolution for it.
Yeah. So just so you know, guys, next season, season 3, we're definitely gonna be launching Biggest Loser VR esports, and so we're gonna record contestants' weight match at the start, and we're gonna record them at the end. We're gonna put them in Beat Saber, Audica, Audio Shield. When they do, maybe we'll do Skyrim matches in between.
Yeah, some endurance marathon.
We'll make them run as in Skyrim.
No fast travel. Just walk that entire map, which, if I'm not mistaken, is about like 2 square kilometers, or maybe even
it's
3.
huge, right? Like actually, I remember very first reading about that back in Skyrim back in 2011. The way people did that is they measured the height of a door and then measured the average height of a character.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's
then
clever.
they took that and how many pixels it was, and then they literally mapped that out across Skyrim, the land of Skyrim, and that's how they found out how big the map of Skyrim is. So
That's insane.
if anybody can actually find out what how big Skyrim actually is, maybe we'll send you a candy bar in the mail or something like that.
Yeah. And so, as much as like we'd like to love talking about this, we'd like to get an ETA on the current matchup. How are they looking so far?
Yeah, so we're
Almost
almost
there?
there. So we
Okay.
got Master Shadow versus Bartubi. So, you know, we are doing the switching live. Everything here is live. So, 100% reliance on tools and everything to work and just ready to go. So the players definitely have to be on top of their toes, and we've done a lot of extensive prepping to get them ready for it.
Yes, we have, and despite that extensive prepping, we love modern technology and all its glitchiness that comes with it.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to that, like, spectator sports, esports is something that's very new overall. You know, it's like on a 40% year-over-year growth rate, according
Which
to
is
Newzoo.
crazy,
Which is
yeah.
bonkers, right? But even 10 years ago, the prize pools were actually really, really small in comparison to what they are today for things like Halo, StarCraft 2. You know, I think back to 2005, 2003, like, prize pools hardly existed.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I'm like in like my early 20s, and like in like middle school, like esports was barely a thing. Like people would just laugh at like the 2 StarCraft players who were playing competitively.
Right.
And then now you have like things like Dota 2, which the prize pool is like what, 2 million or something like that.
Right.
That's insane. And like some players are being paid like comparatively to like football players here, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you're starting to see the emergence of to the point where people can dedicate to their lives to esports, right? And comfortably paid a salary. So, for example, the NBA 2K League is pretty close to us, and those players are earning like a job that you traditionally go to like an entry level college salary after you graduate college, but they're doing an NBA 2K.
Yeah, and even like colleges now have their own varsity esports team for a variety of games, from like Rainbow Six to Overwatch, and there's even esports scholarships, which I would have loved to go. Actually, no, you know, I'm not even that good at video games. Like the best I ever got was like a low gold in League. So someone please carry me, McPuffin's EU West server.
Please carry us. So, actually, I have a funny story, and I don't know if everyone will believe it, but I actually ended in the top 1,000 for PUBG Mobile.
Really?
Yeah, like no joke. And
That's incredible.
yeah, like I think you wouldn't believe it, right? Like, you look at me, see esport athlete, right?
Yeah.
But that
I mean,
was,
granted, no one expects the esports athlete to look like how they do.
right? Yeah. So anyway, let's just shatter everyone's expectations.
Yeah.
But with PUBG Mobile, actually, I made it to the top 1,000 on the North American server. So
That's
I rated
great.
player 900. That has how many daily active players?
Honestly, I have no idea. But was this like before or after Fortnite?
After.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's probably like a not to like downplay your achievement or anything, but you know, a lot of the player base probably moved to Fortnite.
We're gonna look it up right now. So
Yeah.
actually, we're live right now.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Looks like the match
And
is
then
already
I'm gonna
going.
tell you how many players there are in PUBG.
Yeah. So just to remind people, we have Master Shadow on the left side, and we have Bartabi on the right side, playing there. It looks like they just kind of retain the same screen spots, which is really convenient for everyone. I think, you know, it's not confusing them. But yeah, let's see. Looks like we actually, for once, there's actually not a whole lot in the air. There's just like maybe 3 air units, which I find really rare. Usually the map is just flooded with a bunch of like airships. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, airships are super popular.
Yeah, it looks like both of them are focusing the left side of the map. Well, on at least from Bartabi's perspective. But it looks like Master Shadow has already lost his first tower on the left side.
Which is surprising because Master Shadow definitely was off to a quick win earlier, so we'll have to see if he can recover.
Yeah, this is looking like a much more even game, really. But what I'm worried about is that these air units are going more or less uncontested. Like, there's no ground units which can target them. We have 2 dragons facing off in the corner over here. But other than that, like, it just seems to be units just completely countering each other at the moment.
Right, which is one of the real key strategy moments in the game is you definitely want to have your units counter each other. So just like Pokemon, some of the units can be different counters.
Yeah, and now he's laying down his equivalent of a Charizard over there on some poor 6 soldiers over there, who seem to be marching straight to his base, just completely ignoring the towers.
Yeah, so I think some of the common counters that we've seen, you got airships, but then you got the thunderclouds, right? That's probably the most common counter we see. The dragons can really lay waste to some of the ground units.
Yeah, and you can see those sniper hot air balloons just taking pot shots at those troops, but you know, if there's nothing buffering those troops from the actual castle, they're still hitting it.
Yeah, so the sniper is really effective against some of the air units and some of the other, highly vulnerable. So it's like glass cannon versus glass cannon there.
Yeah, exactly. You always want to have, like, just in any game in general, you always want that giant meatball in front of you while you can just take pot shots.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Giant meatballs, that sounds really good right now.
oh yeah. I just, just video game terminology is just so entertaining.
Tanks, right?
Yeah,
like Roadhog
exactly.
in Overwatch.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Landing those key hooks.
what we're seeing right here is we're seeing almost all the action countering on Master Shadow's side. So I think Master Shadow's a little bit in trouble.
Yeah, looks
Right?
like
Okay.
it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's why.
Nice. Well, congratulations to Bartabi. He won the first round. Okay.
I love how Master Shadow, he bowed even though he lost. That is a gracious in defeat, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, even like, a little bit of flair is always like expected in sportsmanship, even in the esports world where like people just think we're a bunch of like closet nerds and all that kind of stuff. But no, there's actually like even, and like, we can't beat around the bush. Like, the online community is like overwhelmingly toxic in most of the case.
Yeah,
But-
so luckily we haven't dealt with a lot of toxicity. I would say like it's like 99% positive in VR esports at the moment.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get really famous here, I think we'll see some more toxicity.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then
I
we'll
think
have
so.
to hire somebody just to ban cheaters.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to have like some chat mods who are like actually really on top of it.
Yeah.
And like having to make like a blacklist of certain phrases and all that kind of stuff.
I love
But yeah,
what-
I love the wave.
Master Shadow's wave is classic.
Yeah.
So maybe he's psyching out his opponents right there. He's psyching out Bartubi.
Oh yeah, the
And
BM.
apparently the alternate spelling from our chat is Bartubi is Bart2B. Like Homer Simpson. Bart
Oh
Simpson.
yeah, I
So-
see that. Maybe that is a reference. We should ask him. Yeah, too bad he can't hear us right now. That's all
Yeah,
right.
and I don't think it's actually they're trying to psych each other out. They're actually just waving to each other. So that's one of the best things about Kingdom Brawl.
Yeah.
Is it really builds like a really cool community, right?
Yeah.
And in contrast to a mobile game, like Clash of Clans, where you're just sitting there and you have no idea who your opponent is, and you're just like trying to steal their base and all their resources.
Yeah.
This is cool because it brings back a lot of the human element into tabletop gaming.
Exactly. Like, just the simple impact of showing the head tracker and the arms flying around makes you feel like you're actually like looking at another human, which I think is very important to that sportsmanship. Like people always say, when everyone's anonymous, everyone's just going to be mean to each other because they don't look at them as actually human.
Right.
But this just really enhances that.
Actually, Master Shadows, he's doing pretty well over here. A lot of the action has moved to the center, right? And so we're not seeing the crazy rush that we saw last time.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. You can see
we're
them shifting
seeing-
around the stadium so they can get better spawn points and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
and then we're seeing Bartubi. He's actually seen some units actually reach the in vicinity of the turrets for the first time.
Yeah, that red dragon is just blasting that blue tower
but
over there.
the dragon did just disappear. So
Oh,
if
no.
you can get a dragon to a turret, that turret's not going to have a huge health span. So
Yeah, no.
Master Shadow's actually doing a pretty good comeback here. I think this is the closest we've seen Master Shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
before.
All
So
of them are
his
just taking the
2-0
4
win was
lanes.
not an accident in the very first round against
Not
Server.
at all. And you know, tight games are always a lot more entertaining to watch. Not just because like it's like creates like a longer run time and all that kind of stuff, but also just like, you know, a sweep just generally implies that the skill balance is just too far, that they're not able to hold their own. And so seeing people on a closer skill level actually play this at a high level is always entertaining.
Absolutely.
Especially in a game like this where it's very easy to snowball that lead. Like once you have a tower down, then you just protection's off, and so that lane is just vulnerable for the rest of the game. And in this game, although we have seen our fair share of comebacks, they often have been fairly rare throughout the tournament. But oh yeah, speaking of which, looks like both of them just lost their first turrets relatively at the same time. So this is actually
That's
quite
actually
a
pretty
tight
unique.
game.
We don't usually see players lose their turrets at the exact same time.
Yeah.
It's usually one player would be down 2 turrets.
Exactly, especially on opposite sides of the map. Where
So that's pretty unique. I think that has a lot to do with lane control.
Yes, definitely.
So, I mean, what do you think some of Master Shadow's favorite units are, Nathan, is what you've seen from right here?
Oh, easily just some of the standard ground troopers and the dragons. That seems to be the meta for these two players. Although the airships do make their appearance occasionally, these two, like the at-home players in general, seem to favor the dragons.
Yeah, I can see Master Shadow. He just threw down a dragon right there in front of his turrets. He's really depending on that as a counterattack unit.
Yeah.
I think those are some knights that are just thrown down there, right?
Yeah, it just seems to be like the knights and the standard stock soldiers. They don't seem to use much else beyond that. I assume they're very just efficient because both of them are just like little big meatballs that can absorb the
Absorb
aggro.
a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you see, Master Shadow, this is pretty rare. He is doing actually a pretty good job managing his resources because he has 2 dragons. Oh, one dragon just went down, but for a while there he had 2 dragons. Now, that actually pushed back Bartubi's units quite a bit.
Yeah, what I find very impressive about this game is the fact that all of them seem to be occupying all 4 lanes, whereas, you know, most games, they usually focus down a lane and just try to keep the other ones occupied by 1 or 2 units.
Right. And over here, on the other side, we got Bartubi. He is favoring the snipers a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And
And
then
actually,
air raiders.
Bartubi's taken out both towers now, while he's still maintained a single tower on his left side on his own. So it looks like the balance is tipping towards Bartubi a little bit. Oh, but it looks like some troops are sneaking around his vulnerable side on the right. And they're closing in pretty fast. He's got to spam several troopers down there just to hold them back.
You know, Master Shadow could actually come back and win this, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He's
which would
got
be a
really good
1-1.
pinch over there. Yeah, there's a dragon right up in his base, and there's a blue side just meant to sneak in on the far left lane, and now he's just forced on the defensive right now. This may be his game. Oh yeah, no, he's just completely surrounded right now. He doesn't have any of his AoE spells to clear them really quickly. And it's just like a mixed array of units. It's hard to deal with such a variety of units. You can't just throw out a single counter that can wipe the floor with them. You have to actually spawn several different times to respond to each one. Oh, and they're into overtime now. Not that it matters though, because both of them are down both. Oh, and it looks like Master Shadow has taken the game. It is now 1-1.
Which is pretty awesome, right? Oh, there we go with the fist bump right there.
Hey, nice. Good sportsmanship. We highly appreciate that.
1-1.
Yeah, looks like we
Hey,
have
this is
one
what
more
you,
game
This is
coming
what
up.
you'd expect out of a final right here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this is what we live for.
Here we got Master Shadow. At some point, we'd hope that this would like be like all hidden, right? Because at this moment, you can really see what your players are building if you really went back and analyzed the deck strategy, right?
Exactly.
So like this is actually crafting is really interesting. So like you see here on this side, you can choose different power-ups or different things to apply to your units. So like for example, you can make them more vulnerable to fire, but at the cost of some additional HP. Wait, I think I got that backwards. So anyway, but you can do a bunch of counters to your deck. So, but typically they come with a trade-off. So if you're doing more speed, sometimes that'll mean a little less health, and you can apply that to some of your casting decks. So The at-home version is really cool because you can basically get your decks, and then as you level up, you get more gold. What we did for the arcade tournament is we instantly gave players unlockable decks just to create an even playing field between everything. But as you play this game, you actually earn more gold through your GameSparks account, and just jump into it that way.
Exactly, and now it looks like we've moved on to a new map where the lanes are not so rigid because while they're more or less maybe 4 lanes, there are several pathways to get through each of them just because they're not like the hard ridges that we saw last time. It's just literally like 6 trees. Oh, but it looks like Bartubby's left tower is already in some trouble over there.
So anyway, this is I think Master Shadow's doing a really good job of coming back. We're getting predictions here in the chat.
Nice.
So I think a few people are saying Master Shadow's going to take it. I wouldn't discount Bartubi though. Bartubi's had some really good stops, and Master Shadow keeps on relying on those dragons.
Yeah, it looks like Bartubi's dropped a sneaky little dragon on the left side. We'll see how far they can make it there. It looks like it's already engaged in something, so possibly not. It is looking pretty grim for Bartubi right now.
Yeah,
but...
so we got the disc battleships just right there in the middle. We got at least 1 dragon.
Yeah, and it looks like while his spawn line is a little bit backed up to him, it looks like he's turning the tide right now.
Master Shadow is using a ton of air units. He's using some of those sniper balloons, and then he's using the battleships.
Yeah, it's got those little snipers just taking the little pot shots. Like if you don't deal with them soon, their damage really adds up over time.
Yeah, I mean he just did cast 1 ground unit over there, but I see his ratio of like ground to air is like 1 to 3, so mostly air units.
Yeah, and it looks like there's actually been a shift in tactics. Like we're seeing a couple more fireballs now, and we actually have not seen any thunderclouds, which I find interesting because of the prevalence of air units.
Right, especially in the arcade tournament. But I'm not just seeing any thunderclouds coming down the center lanes here.
Exactly. Maybe that's why they switched to dragons. I have played this game several times, but I'm not sure for like the higher level strategies, and I'm theorizing that the wyverns are actually somewhat resistant to the thunderclouds, which is maybe why we haven't seen those airships except for the long-range sniper ones in a long time, and we haven't seen those thunderclouds.
Yeah, so Shell's actually, one of his things he's saying in chat here. Oh, well,
yeah,
we'll get to that.
Looks like we just had a victory. Ooh, there we go. Well, it looks like Bartubi won.
Bartubi! Bart2B!
Yeah,
Master Shadow
congratulations.
almost took it, but that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, he was leading in the first half of that match, but it looks like he really managed to turn it around, subverting the expectations of Twitch chat. Don't let random internet people hamper your dreams.
Right. So Bartubi, he did really awesome, but Master Shadow also both super good quality players.
Oh yeah.
So I think what you're seeing here is a lot of these players in the at-home tournaments are currently occupying the top 10 leaderboard spot worldwide for Kingdom Brawl.
Yeah, which is super exciting.
So you're seeing some fairly advanced strategies. You're seeing a lot of stops. You're seeing the matches go a little bit longer than typical, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you've never played this game before, which a lot of people are just being introduced to this game for the first time, if you play against the AI, your matches can be as short as 2 minutes. So the fact that it went this long is just super, super good on both their parts.
Definitely. Even with like a marginal skill gap results in a very quick 2-0 and
Right.
very short matches, just because it's just so like such a minute skill differences makes that big of a difference.
And I think one of the other things that we've seen a request for in the Discord is that the winner of the at-home match play against the winner of the NA versus EU.
Oh yes.
So we may see that here soon. That was not something we had originally set up like in the tournament rules doc or anything like that. But I think I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah, same. And like as we've said before, like the at-home thing was just something we've kind of played with, so it's still somewhat of like a pilot test for this tournament. But if everyone's open to it, I think like they show a very high level of skill, and I think they would make a very good match for the EU NA players.
Yeah, which I think is fantastic. So some of the at-home tournaments, there's some games that frankly, just being an arcade, some games are more popular than others, right?
Yeah,
So Space Pirate Trainer, Super Hot are all very popular games because you can launch into them in just a couple of minutes. Some games that take like a really long time to ramp up, like Onward and Pavlov, are not actually super popular in arcades.
Yeah.
But they have really great player bases at home, and so taking some of our learnings from what we've done at that home tournament, potentially apply to some of those tournaments down the road. Even some of the world, even some like Kairos. Okay, rewind. So Kingdom Brawl is actually the first version that came out with Skyworld, which is traditionally a much longer game.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. And so we are actually running a tiny bit over time. We were supposed to start the next match like a minute ago, but because the last match ran on a little bit long, we are a little bit delayed on that. But right now we're just waiting for the next players to load in right now. And now that the at-home is concluded, we are going to the NA finals, where we are having their usernames escape me.
Let's actually load up the brackets here.
Okay, yeah.
So we're waiting on Waylon from Spectrum.
Yes,
So-
and Shale.
And Shell. So as we look at this bracket, we're going to review this bracket right before we launch into the finals. So let's take a closer look. So as we've reviewed this once last time, but the North American bracket has been one of the most competitive brackets that we've seen. So quickly, it's John overtook Devon Virtuality. Stu, one of the top players in Kingdom Brawl and VR Junkies or Space Junkies. Did really awesome. Actually, Stu's from VR Junkies in Arizona, so that's the arcade he plays at.
Yeah.
And then we had Shell, Disciples of Gaming. We had one player drop out due to a dental issue. And then we had Keith, Brandon, Wesley, and Waylon go on. So
just a minor correction. It's John was the one who had the dental incident.
Stu actually really pushed Shell in the last game.
Yeah,
that was actually really close. So I think Stu deserves, even though he's out of the semifinals, he's basically like, he's like Michigan from the NCAA bracket from the basketball tournament.
What's NCAA? I'm not gonna lie. So like, even though I sound like this, I am actually not really from the U.S. and so I don't know a lot of the things.
Right. So
here.
College basketball, obviously.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So Michigan had a pretty big upset in the tournament for March Madness here. And so they went really far. I think Stu was one of the favorites. I think we seeded him pretty highly. But anyway, just work on ongoing the brackets.
Yeah.
So we had Shell, who is currently playing, and then we have Waylon, so from Spectrum.
Yeah, and it looks like the next two players are ready, and so we're going to jump straight into that match.
This.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked for this match. We basically have Shell, who's one of the master tacticians, and then we have Waylon, who basically they ended semifinals. They ended up two players from their own same arcade, right? Which is pretty rare.
Yeah, I know, right?
Two players from the same arcade face off. But
yeah,
he
almost seems like a conspiracy if you ask
right?
me, you know?
They're like, hey, Waylon, like, go and win, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Be a representative from arcade, but I don't know if even if they threw the matches to each other, which there's no way they did. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyway, if they did that, we'll see if Waylon can really go against Shell. So, or if the semifinals with Shell versus Stu was some of the highlight of the competition. I think it really was from last time in the stream.
Yeah. I mean, like, these people are in like the top rankings for Kingdom Brawl right now, and if I'm not mistaken, like Shale actually has is up there by quite a margin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and as far as we know, this is actually the very first VR esports card-based strategy esport tournament ever. That was a little bit of a mouthful, but there has never been, strategy games in esports are really new. I just took a look a little bit earlier at some of the top games in VR by player base. There's this website called VR Looking for Group.
Yeah.
And strategy games, there's only, I think, 2 in the top 50.
Wow.
So, esports really started off with like Quake and StarCraft, and so RTS games have had a really strong traditional thing in esports. But for VR, strategy games are still climbing. People are experimenting with what's new out there, and this. I think the point of it is that really, like, we're gonna say 2019. This could have been the first tournament ever. I don't know if there's gonna be esports historians in the future.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, like, there are game historians and game journalists right now who are documenting all this.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is actually pretty substantial that we have Shell and the players from Spectrum Arcade facing off.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, like, we got EU, we got North America, we got the at-home bracket, and just getting them ready to go.
Yeah, and also, sorry, just quick note to our producer over here. Could you just mute the mic so it's just not doubling like that with the casting audio? Thank you so much. Okay, that should be a lot better for our viewers right now.
Yeah, we actually owe Brandon a bunch of pancakes. I don't know, Brandon, do you like pancakes? He's off screen.
Yeah.
Brandon says yes to pancakes. So as Nathan and I are casting, there's a lot going on. It basically, like, casting a VR esports tournament is at least a 3 to 4 person team job.
Oh yeah, easily.
So
there's a lot to
and
do.
then just putting together like the program and the casting deck and making sure everyone's prepped. Typically, that's like an 8-hour day in itself, right there.
Yeah. And usually we have to crunch it out in about half that time because, like, startup life, it's very, very fun, very exciting,
Right.
very chaotic.
Okay. So Brandon, I think, are you asking for pancakes right now, or?
No.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it looks like we're experiencing several technical difficulties right now, so sorry, we apologize for that, but we should be able to get the match running in a couple more minutes. Hopefully our NA finalists aren't too nervous and like just kind of sitting there in the lobby.
Yeah. I wrestled in high school, and the point before matches, I always got like butterflies in my stomach.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I played baseball, a little bit of football, but baseball and wrestling are my two main sports, and just like right before the matches start, like you always feel that way.
Yeah, and
So-
we've even had that in like we've seen it in other esports before when they experience technical difficulties and like the pace of the game is just brought to an abrupt halt midway, and all the players are just left stewing in their own thoughts. And
Right,
what a lot of
'cause-
other sports will do is that they actually ban communication between team members, and so everyone's just sitting there in silence
In
for
silence,
like 10
just
minutes.
waiting, right? So I think we're getting light stream back up.
Oh, okay, okay. It looks like it's starting to work a little bit better right now. And I think this is really why a lot of esports players in general, even though like esports is all online technically, most of them opt to have the players in person. I mean, like, obviously there's the fanfare and seeing them in person and just having a high level of production with that. But also just comes from a practical standpoint, not having to deal with like this level of technical issues. And we definitely apologize for the numerous amounts of technical difficulties we've had this time. This has not happened in other tournaments. I mean, we have had difficulties before, but usually they're a lot smoother than today has been.
Right. Although I really do enjoy live esports, because then you get some crazy moments. Have you seen the GIF with the guy on Madden?
No, I haven't.
Oh, he gets so mad. He basically has like a temper tantrum on screen.
Oh no.
And oh man, I forget who the Super Smash Brothers player was, but there's a Super Smash Brothers final recently, and not good, good sportsmanship at all.
Oh, no.
But after he won, somebody threw a crab at him.
Oh my, like an actual like crab.
Right? Yeah. So actually, somebody because the way they did the Super Smash Brothers setup is they had, they were like on a raised platform. And then I think they only had like 50 something people in the audience. Obviously, like many people online because they're Super Smash Brothers huge.
Yeah, yeah.
But so you had like 50 people in the audience. As soon as the player won, I guess he's a controversial player in the Smash community.
Right.
I don't know why, because if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll never get out. But
Yeah.
Somebody threw a crab on stage and
Oh
it,
my
hit him in the
gosh.
back.
Ah.
Not that crabs are super deadly,
Yeah.
or anything, right? But
It's got a hard shell though.
yeah, if anybody can find the GIF of either the Madden player and throw it up in our Twitch chat, or
I'd love to see it. I've never
yeah,
heard
in Discord,
of this before.
right? So in the Kingdom Brawl, if you go to the Discord right now, and you can find the Madden player freaking out in live,
I will
or
go
you can
there
find
later
the crab,
for sure.
we will give you extra bonus points.
That is crazy.
So challenge to our Twitch viewers right now. The quickest one to either find the Madden player freaking out. He's so mad. He's just like, this game. I don't know. It's messed up. Or the crab. So I'm going to pull up Discord, and we're going to see if anybody manages to do that. in
Sounds
just an
good.
instant.
But that's something I've noticed a little bit more in fighting games. Like people tend to get a lot more heated in those types of games, and I don't know if it's just like the players that fighting games tend to attract. It's like there's definitely a clear sort of like demographic for genres of different games, you know.
Yeah, I think the fighting game community has a reputation sometimes a little toxic, right? And I
Yeah,
don't know why
yeah.
that is. Super Smash Brothers is a super friendly game.
Yeah, it is. And it's intentionally built like that. Like, it has a very high skill cap, but also, like, just learning the basics of the game is quite low. It's not like you're having to learn, like, frame canceling and all that kind of stuff and, like,
Oh,
teching.
yeah.
I mean, like, you do at the higher
It
levels,
gets
but...
intense, right? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
casual Super Smash Bros. Is a little bit different. Actually, okay, so
Yeah.
We're back.
Oh,
here.
okay, we finally have it running.
So thank goodness
Yay!
for Lightstream. So
Yes.
Lightstream is also another startup. They are pioneering esports.
Yeah, and also
basically
praise the
watchability.
producer Brandon
Praise the
backstage
producer, if
who
you
was
know him, give him
scrambling to do
pancakes.
that. Oh yes, all the pancakes. Do we have pancake emotes? We should.
So I'm still waiting for somebody to either find the GIF of the Madden player or the GIF of the crab with Super Smash Brothers for our Discord channel. So as soon as you get there, bonus points.
Excellent. Oh, and if I'm not mistaken, it looks like actually the first. Unfortunately, we're not able to stream the first game, but it looks like this is actually the second one already.
So are we starting on Shell round 2 here?
I think so, and unfortunately, we actually do not know who won that first match, but we'll keep going from here. We trust the players to keep that record, and they've been very good with communicating with us so far, and we highly appreciate that. But anyways, let's get into this game. It looks like we've moved on. They're throwing in a lot of air support. Looks like they are actually not leaning towards a lot of the heavier air units like the dragons and the airships. They're just using those like balloon snipers up there. And it looks like they're able to take their little pot shots at the troops. None of them have really reached the towers yet, and
This
they're
is
using the fog
a
clouds.
Shell match. So I know that in every Shell matches there's typically a thundercloud right there.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, we're seeing a heavy preponderance of air units right here, and if you look off to the right, you can see a sniper that Wayland just did.
Exactly, and those sniper units are fantastic because they can shoot for such a far range that you really have to push your troops really far up to actually just to get to them. And while their damage may not be super high, just that chip damage over time, taking away the tower. And it looks like we just lost the first tower on the left side over here. Oh, but the right tower also, it looks like just a lot of fire. I think that tower has fallen, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, and it looks like the spawn has actually been pushed up a lot. Wayland is really pushing Shale into a corner right now. Shale's trying to respond by sneaking in some red soldiers who moved in pretty quickly, and Wayland's right tower is actually taking a lot of damage right now. It may fall in the next couple. Right
it
there.
just fell.
Ooh.
And
I didn't even see that airship over there.
Maybe that was a risk, right? Because Wayland was just consistently laying down snipers over on that side, and so I think he may have left his right side really vulnerable.
Yeah, and Wayland does have a very strong. He had a strong offense in like
look
the
at
middle
this.
left lane.
So there's the Marauders right there, just
Ooh,
coming up.
boy.
So that was really, really close.
Yeah, both towers are down, but Wayland's blue sniper is still taking pot shots. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually shooting straight at the tower. So while this heavy skirmish is happening in the middle of the game, Wayland has 2 sniper towers on both sides of the
Wayland's
far map.
almost in trouble. Two towers down. This could be really fast. This could be really the conclusion of the North American right here. Unless he can find a super quick counter. So there we go. So you toss the dragon right there. That's one of the most powerful units he could do. But that may have been at high cost, right?
Exactly.
So we'll see if he can push back over here. So Wayland has won his many share of games over here, but he is quickly getting in trouble versus Shell. So
it looks that way.
So Shell is sending straight up Marauders and other units down. We see the exclamation mark. He's got 2.
Oh boy.
He's got 2 dragons, but even then, so his 2 dragons are still alive. I think one's going to go down here soon. But even with that, it may not be enough.
Exactly.
I think the turrets are
Oh
down.
no, that sniper tower is taking its pot shots at the tower. Those
Shell
dragons
is
are
just
soaking
so
up.
good. He is just like amazingly hard competitor to compete against. So we're going to have to see how he really does against the European finalists here.
Yeah, and I hope someone corrects me in the chat, but I'm not actually sure if Shale has competed in any other of the VR competitions we've had before, because I definitely recognize Wayland from
So Wayland
Archangel,
has
I think.
done previous competitions. Spectrum has participated, but Shell I think is actually a newcomer here to some of these some of these arcade tournaments.
Yeah,
So,
looking like a little one-trick pony for cards and tabletop strategy.
I don't know. Like, you know, Hearthstone. I don't know if you call the champion a one-trick pony, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay, my
Hearthstone
mistake.
competitors are super intense, right? So
Oh, that's where it comes from.
anybody
Yeah.
who can win these card-based battlers has some serious skills.
Yeah, laughing at that one kid who told you your Pokemon cards are a joke. Now who's look at this, almost like on the line to win $1,000 and a couple hundred more in worth of a VR headset.
Yeah, so the grand prize here for this tournament, $500 plus the HTC Vive Pro headset.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like the match is concluded. Oh, it looks like Shale actually lost that one. I love how Waylon is able to just completely circumvent the table and just walk across it. But yeah, congratulations
Wow.
to Waylon for
Wow.
going one-on-one.
Super fast. Oh my gosh. So
Outer Limits is definitely blown away in the corner over there.
yeah, so I think this is evidence of just the player's high skill. Don't know how many times I have to say that, but we got Spectrum. Now we got 1-to-1.
Yeah,
So this is
yeah.
going to be super intense. I mean, Nathan, what do you think are some things that Shell might do to recover for this upcoming match?
I mean, it looks like you have to tighten your macro just a little bit more with your wave management, because it seems that like some Marauders went under the radar a little bit there. They were able to sneak in to the
It
sides.
seemed like the Marauders were really a problem for Spectrum, right? For Waylon, right?
Yeah, it seemed a problem for both of them, really. Like, neither of them were able to
Yeah, there was
fully
some
track
units,
their movement.
Yeah, I mean, units were both getting to the other side of the board pretty quickly in that one, right?
Yeah.
We saw a lot of action in the middle, but there's actually a lot of units that were crossing over down that center lane right there.
Yeah, and while that Thundercloud is a really powerful ability, it seems that like some of the units were able to circumvent it by just simply going around
By
them or
going
just
around,
outraging
right?
them.
So, yeah, I mean, the Thundercloud is super great strategy, but you know there definitely are ways to defeat it too.
Exactly.
I didn't see a lot of as many of the battleships, right? The
Yeah, no,
airships
not
and
at
so
all.
on.
Yeah, it seems like the meta has really shifted from those battleships to like the dragons and
Yeah.
like sniper balloons.
So Waylon won that match, and now
Oh,
we're going
okay.
to match 3.
Oh wait, oh no, Waylon. Sorry, our mistake. Waylon 2-0 Shale.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Brandon,
yeah.
are you for real? I guess we must have
Yeah,
missed.
yeah, we must have missed it. Oh yeah. I guess because of the technical difficulties, they were actually playing
They
during
did play that
time.
first one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that's our bad on our part. But
Yeah, Livestream was having some technical difficulties.
yeah, but congratulations to Waylon. Yeah, you were the NA champion.
Let's verify that super fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Sounds good. Well, if Waylon's won, that means he's going to be facing Sirius from EU. Which
Whoa!
shouldn't
All
be a
right,
problem.
so Waylon is the winner here.
Yeah, yeah. Congratulations. And so we are going to be organizing that at another date. But just so you guys know, we will not be live streaming that, but we will definitely put up a VOD when we can, and we
Whoa.
will announce it.
That was actually definitely an upset. I expected Shale to win it the entire time.
Yeah, same.
So, you know, actually, so there is actually the prize pool goes a little bit deeper. So,
Oh, yeah.
Even I think Shale is still walking away with some portion of the prize pool here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course.
So, whether that's 100 or you know where he ends up on the rankings, but you know the grand prize it's definitely tilted towards like, the grand prize, the first place winner this time.
Definitely.
So $500 plus the HTC Vive Pro.
Yeah.
So, wow, technical difficulties, light stream. We love you, but you also failed us.
Oh yeah.
And
oh man.
man, that was a shocker.
Yeah, yeah. That
I'm just
was-
like I'm sitting here like mind blown.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy match.
So Waylon, you know, even if the other Spectrum players just laid themselves, you know, they were just little road bumps for Waylon, right, on his way to
Yeah,
the
clearly.
championship, it didn't matter. He defeated that side of the bracket, and he defeated the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, like, imagine, like, we had the, like, just through random selection, we generally had the Spectrum arcades on the same side, and so they tend to match against each other more often. But I wonder if we had spread them out more, if, like, we just would have ended up with, like, Spectrum versus Spectrum Because that was something
Yeah.
that happened in the semifinals.
But this is crazy. I don't think for Kingdom Brawl this is the end of tournaments that are coming out, right?
Oh, not at all, yeah.
Either if we organize like more at-home ones, or game is just so set up for tournaments, like it's built from the ground up for tournaments.
Oh, for sure.
And in order to have a successful VR multiplayer game, you really need to hold regular tournaments, keep the player base engaged. So,
Yeah. Well, now that that's concluded, that is pretty much all our events for tonight. Is there any closing notes that we would like to go over?
no, so I think we're gonna watch the North American versus EU, right?
Yes.
So we're definitely gonna either get that on command, or we may cast a little bit. So that one's a little bit tricky, just because the EU players for some reason don't want to wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I know.
to
Come
play
on, guys. You're
during
already
North
up playing
American
games at 2
shooting
in the
times.
morning anyways.
So depending on how that goes, we may do some light casting on that. But that will definitely determine the grand champion right there. So
Definitely.
We've prepped the EU and the North American players to be expecting a match schedule soon. And so every time as we prep the players to go in the next round, we're like, just be aware of your next match times, and it's definitely going to be Waylon versus
Serious Rain.
versus Serious Rain. So
Yeah,
we're
we
going to
look
see
forward
who
to that.
actually wins the HTC Vive right on that side, and go forward from there. I think the only other thing that's really important is this match is fantastic. It doesn't have a lot of that
Oh,
twitch. Like twitchiness, where we're worrying about instant millisecond things like in Skyfront, right?
Yeah.
So this one is a little bit slower, still really fast paced. So we've chosen to go with the North American EU Championship this time.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you for watching, and we will catch you guys later.
Yeah. All right. Signing off, and welcome to the very first VR esports card based, one of the very first strategy tournaments ever.
Yeah.
So moment in history. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.